Cardo Packtalk Edge is the most boring device that I own. I never have to fiddle with it, and it works all the time, every time. It does exactly what it's advertised to do without any issues or troubleshooting. So let me tell you why I always ride with this little dude now. So I started using Cardo units in 2022 with this, the Cardo Spirit. I took it across the USA on a Harley. I rode about 12,000 miles with it. And I love this thing, but it doesn't connect to only more than one other rider over Bluetooth. So it's great if you're solo, it's great if you have one riding buddy that you're always close to. But if you're riding in a big group, like I started doing in Thailand with the tours that I run, the Rite of Passage tours, you need to be able to connect to a lot of people. So that's when I looked at the Packtalk line, like the Edge and the Custom as well. So just so you know, this is not a paid review. I shelled out my own money to buy this duo pack, to buy these. I actually bought 8 units plus these Edge phones and this half helmet kit to run my tours with. So I spent all my own money on this stuff because I love Cardo and I just wanted to give this review. These things just work. I've taken them through tropical rainstorms, through extreme heat, through extreme cold, and they work flawlessly. That's what I love the most about them. And they have such nice user-friendly features. I don't really have to think about it. It just kind of does what I want it to do when I want it to do it. So for example, when you turn these on and pair them with a group, even the initial pairing is extremely easy. You just all hold down one button on your units and they all immediately sync. You can sync a group of 15 in 30 seconds, like that. It's so easy. And then every time you turn those units on and off, if they're in that DMC group together, they will automatically reconnect. And there's no admin unit as far as I can tell. Like I had 3 guys on my tour that stayed a little bit longer and kept their units with them. And they were able to turn on and connect to each other without me being nearby or on at all. So they're really, really easy to connect together into a group. As far as using it, the experience just, it's hands-free and it does what you would want it to do. So let me give you some examples. When you're riding and you're listening to music, you've got GPS directions on and you're talking to your buddies in the intercom. When you speak or someone else speaks into the intercom and turns on their mic, then the volume of the music or the GPS will come down. And then if the GPS comes on, the music will go down. So there's a hierarchy to the different directions. Actually, I think GPS will overcome intercom. So you'll hear GPS and then you'll hear the intercom in the background. So it just kind of moves the volume automatically for you based on when you speak. You don't have to turn on the mic or turn it off, but actually I'll get into that later. There are voice commands which make that super, super easy. Another great feature is it adjusts the volume based on external noise. So like when I accelerate and there's a lot of wind noise coming at me, it will up the volume so that to my ear, it sounds the same. And same if I stop at a stoplight and suddenly there's way less exterior noise, the music isn't going to be blaring, it's going to come down a lot. So those kind of features are really nice, just make the experience so seamless. Another really cool thing I'll demonstrate on this helmet, when you turn it off, it will tell you how much battery is left.
Battery status, full.
So when you're taking the helmet off, you know exactly how much battery you have left and whether you need to plug it in and charge it for the next day's ride. So as far as audio quality, this is a big thing for a lot of people. The Packtalk Edge is packed with JBL's 40mm speakers, which put out great sound, treble and bass all around. They're really, really solid speakers. They're not as loud as the 45mm that you can buy or that you get with the Packtalk Edge Pro. Those are a little bit better, but they're good enough for pretty much any riding as long as you have a pretty good ceiling helmet. This is another thing I hear a lot about just these units in general is the wind noise is horrible. Wind noise is not something that this unit is going to solve for you. It usually comes from a fit issue of your helmet just either being not great quality or not fitting your head just right. You could be wearing a $1,000 Arai. If it's too big for your head, there's going to be wind coming in and creating a bunch of noise. So get the right fitting helmet. I'll put a fit guide below in the description that I wrote on how to fit a helmet. If you get a really well-fitting helmet, then you don't need to be turning the speakers up to 11 to hear your music, to hear your intercom. The microphone that's packaged with these is also really high quality. So to give you a personal anecdote, the first time that I went on a ride with this, my wife called me, I picked up and I was talking to her and kind of weaving through traffic, and then someone cut in front of me without using their turn signal, and I complained about it, and she was like, what is going on? And I'm like, you can't tell, I'm on the bike. She had no idea that I was riding 60 miles an hour on a motorcycle. They're really, really good at tuning out the wind noise. So one other last thing that I'll say about wind noise is that my secret solution are $10 earbuds. So in a helmet that is just too loud, like this helmet, for example, it's a great helmet for adventure riding, for off-road, for mixed use. But if I'm going on the highway at 100 miles an hour, it's not that comfortable and it's loud. It's just an adventure helmet. It's very well ventilated. It's going to be pretty loud. So my trick for riding with this helmet when I do tours is to plug in these these headphones that I got from 7-Eleven for 10 bucks because Cardo's setup is for the speakers, they just have a regular 3.5 millimeter audio connector. So I just plug these in, put them in my ears and slot the helmet right over. Super easy to do. These ones have a little clip I can clip on my jacket. And that improves the sound quality massively because you don't have to deal with wind noise or anything. There's no gap between the sound in your ear. So I got to talk about intercom range and using these on tours. So I've used these with 8 other riders on tours with a mix of the Cardo Customs and the Packtalk Edge. And we were riding a lot in very tight turns in the jungle, in the mountains, where there's very little visibility. And at times, nobody could see anyone else on the ride. We were still able to all communicate through these, which is so, so valuable when you're doing those kind of rides. Because if I'm at the front, I don't know if someone in the back went down. And I just wait until I see them. There could be an hour where I'm riding where I don't see more than 1 or 2 people behind me. So having this communicator really, really helps coordinate the group. And these, in my opinion, are the best of any on the market at keeping that connection. So I got to address universal pairing. Cardo has released universal intercom pairing where you can actually pair an entire mesh group from Sena into a mesh group with Cardo. So I'll drop a link in the description to how to do that. There's a couple steps you got to take. So let me talk about mounting. Mounting these in a helmet is super simple. They give you 2 mounts and 2 microphones actually with every kit. This is the sticky mount that I have on the side of my necks because there's really no place to put the other type of mount. So this one is stuck on, some people prefer sticky mounts. They work on basically every helmet, but actually the one that I like the most is this. It's a clamp mount. So you can just slide it off really easily and slide it back on. And if your helmet has a thin lip like that, like a lot of Shoeis are designed like this, it will just, takes a little muscling, but it will just slide right on there and it's super secure then. Like, I feel like it's more secure than the sticky mount. That said, I've never lost a sticky mount and I've ridden through really tough conditions with that, so I don't think it's that big an issue. But yeah, those are the 2 mounts. You can also mount these on half helmets. So I bought the half helmet kit for a rider on one of my trips, and this will clip right into the side. There's also a sticky mount option to stick it onto the side of the half helmet. And then you have a really long microphone. So that's really useful. If you have a half helmet with a lip up here, you can reach all the way down. I gotta mention this magnetic clip, which is one of the downsides actually I wanna talk about, but it makes it super easy to switch helmets. So I ride in both of these helmets kind of equally, and I can just push down and pop this out of this helmet, and then come over here and just literally drop it on and it clips right into that helmet. So it's really easy to switch between helmets, which is nice. And I will mention in the box, I'll put a screenshot of the picture that I took of the box of this box, but each individual Cardo unit, so this is the dual, but the single one as well, it will come with 1 set of speakers, but then 2 microphones because you get a boom mic and a little, they call it a button mic, and it will come with 2 mounts. It will come with the sticky mount and the clamp mount. Although the mount is not the same as this base plate, you'll have to buy another base plate. So if you want to put it in 2 helmets, if you have 2 helmets, like if you have 2 open face helmets, you're going to need 2 boom mics, for instance. But if you have like 2 full face helmets or modular and a full face, you can use those different microphones and the different clamps across the 2 helmets. Then you just have to buy one of these, which is only 30 bucks, versus the second helmet kit that Cardo sells for 130 bucks. So it's a lot cheaper. You can buy these clamps too. They're just little pieces of plastic for 10 bucks. You can buy sticky mounts for 10 bucks. You can buy the mics for 10 bucks or 15 bucks or whatever it is from Cardo. So you can buy each piece individually and kind of kit out each helmet as you want. So battery life. Outstanding. It's advertised at 13 hours and that's pretty close to my experience with it. On my tours, I've been riding with 8 other riders and this has not really needed to be charged for like 3 days. So I'll ride 3 to 4 hours a day with mesh on, GPS, and music, and it only needs to be charged like every 3 days. So it really does last like 13 hours. This also has fast charging, which is worth mentioning. So the charger's in the back here, it's USB-C. It'll charge a couple hours in like 20, 30 minutes. And it doesn't use that USB-C port to connect to the speakers and the mic. It uses this magnetic, these contacts, these electrical contacts. So you can actually charge this while you ride, which is really, really nice. I did that a lot with the Cardo Spirit because it has a similar system in the USA when I was going across the country, because some days I rode 7, 8 hours, so I would keep it charged up while I was riding. Super sweet. Voice command functionality. So I mentioned this earlier, but voice commands on this are really, really nice. You can do volume control, you can mute and unmute the microphone, which is massive on trips. There's always gonna be that guy that for whatever reason, his mic isn't placed correctly, but his mic keeps turning on, and you hear wind noise, and everyone is hearing that. Well, you can just say, hey Cardo, mute microphone, and boom, it mutes the microphone. and then you just say, hey Cardo, unmute microphone. No buttons, no anything. So if someone's like, hey, somebody's mic is going crazy and you think it's the guy with a half helmet or whatever, just tell them to mute their microphone. Done. It's so easy. You can also use Siri and Hey Google through this thing. If you just say like, hey Siri or Hey Google, and then you can access all that kind of stuff.
Hey Siri, call Dean's Martin. That fast.
You have to make sure your phone allows that when it's locked, unless you have it in front of you with a GPS, but a lot of times my phone's in my pocket. So you can say like, I've tried it, hey Siri, navigate to XYZ, and it will just automatically do it. Or hey Siri, call this person, it will automatically do it. So that's really, really nice. And it's very fast and seamless, which I think I tried this with the Cardo, if I remember correctly, 2 years ago, and it was pretty slow and clunky. Obviously that was Siri a few years ago as well. So all this technology is getting a lot better and a lot more seamless. That's everything I like about the Packtalk Edge. But one thing that I have to mention that I don't like about this unit is, as easy as the clamp is to use when you, or the mount is to use when you pop it in, you just drop it on, it's kind of annoying to get out. You got to use two hands and kind of muscle through it. There's this plastic piece here you got to push down, and then you have to slide the unit out. So it's not really easy to do it with one hand. Whereas, for example, the Packtalk Custom, I like the mount for this one because you have this little tab at the front and you just pull that and the whole thing kind of falls out. So it's really easy to get out with one hand. This thing, a little bit trickier. Maybe the plastic will soften up, it'll get easier, but you know, it's kind of difficult to get out. Might be something for them to work on. So let's talk about how the Cardo Packtalk Edge stacks up against other similar models. So I talked about the Spirit earlier. I think the Spirit is a great option if you're on a budget or you're only ever riding alone. This thing costs 4 times as much as the Spirit, so it's a lot cheaper. The one thing you need to know about the Spirit is that the regular Spirit comes with 30mm speakers that are not very good. So you're either going to want to upgrade to the aftermarket, the 45mm, they're Cardo speakers, but the Cardo JBL 45mm, or just get the Cardo Spirit HD, which comes with the 40mm, the same as what comes with this. But I would say if you're going to ride with even one other person, just get the Packtalk Edge, because you're going to have much more flexibility and much more range to add more people and to ride in bigger groups. So this is definitely better for group riding. The other comparison that I have to make is against Sena. So the Sena 60S just came out, which is the competitor to this, and I haven't had a chance to try it yet. So if you have any firsthand comments on what you think of the 60S, put them below. I know Sena's really stepped up their game lately by adding like Harman Kardon speakers and microphones and stuff. But generally my perception of Sena from talking to other riders is that they don't have great connectivity. The reliability is not great. And when I'm going out on a ride or I'm running a tour, I just want this thing to work. I don't want to have to fiddle with it or learn how to use it. I just want it to turn on and work. It's not something that I like to play with or troubleshoot. So that's why I've kind of avoided Senas over the years, and that's kind of the feedback that I've gotten from other riders is Cardo is generally more reliable. But if you have any thoughts on the Sena 60S, just drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. So whether you are riding on-road or off, solo, or in a pack, I think this is the unit for you. It's the Cardo Packtalk Edge. It's served me super well as a solo rider and in big groups and in all types of terrains and all types of weather. So absolutely go check this out. You can pick up the Cardo Packtalk Edge from Cardo directly. You can get 10% off from them if you sign up for their newsletter on their website, but you can also get it from Amazon and from Revzilla, so I'll put all the links down below. Everyone is having different deals at different times, so just see what you can find. Thanks for watching. Peace.